Hey guys, we're in the shop again. You know, always in the shop, right? Right here is an 87 944S. This has the 16 valve in it, which is a great engine, I think. Plenty of power for naturally aspirated. I believe there's somewhere around, this is a 2.5, so it's like 186, I think, 186 horsepower, somewhere around there. The 3 liter was like 220 or something. It was pretty good. Everyone wants the S2. But this is the first generation 87, I think was the first year of the 16 valve. They might have brought it in late 86, but I'm not totally sure. But this is this car is sold. I just got to do some work to it. It was mine for a little while. I got to enjoy it for about a day and a half. You don't want to enjoy them too long because then you start liking them. That's the one thing I want to talk about, though. Everyone's always afraid of 944s. They're unreliable. They're overly engineered. They're this, they're that. They're actually really well-built cars, and there's some things, yes, I don't enjoy working on them, but that goes with the territory on any car. You know, you could say there's things that on 911s I don't like working on. Actually, no, that's not true. I love everything about them. But there's things on the Beetles I don't like doing. I hate doing ball joints. That's pretty much on any car. I don't like doing ball joints because it's, I don't know, maybe because you always bash your hands and knuckles, and they're never one of the, not one of those jobs is the same, no matter what. And you do ball joints on a 67 Beetle, and you could do 3 in a row, and they'd all be different because it's just the way they come out or don't want to come out and whatever. Anyways, that being said, doing something simple on this car. We're doing the brakes. This car's sat since 2013. Unfortunately, the brakes are like brand new on this car. I don't want to sell it this way. They work fine. I've been driving it around like that. And the rust just isn't coming off. I haven't been getting on the brakes too much. But I got new tires to put on. I have the wheels all off. I mean, obviously, you guys don't need to see me take wheels off a car, right? I mean, everyone knows how to do that, I would think. I can show you me putting them back on, I guess. They're over there. I just put new tires on them. Somebody misplaced my my wheel weights. Anybody out there know where they are? Let me know. Comment below where my wheel weights are. I don't know where somebody put them. But anyways, we're just going to do the brakes. We're going to do rotors and pads. Probably clean up the calipers a little bit too. Maybe paint them. Ooh, what color? Ooh, I don't know. Red? Ooh, I think that adds horsepower. So yeah, so we'll do the fronts first, and then we'll work our way to the back. Everything else in the car, we just actually, this just got an engine put in it. That was the problem with it. Somebody Someone flipped. Someone jumped the timing belt. It didn't change it in the right intervals. I think that it's got 84,000 miles on it. I don't think it was ever changed. That's actually a good distance on that thing. The guy who owned this before was the second owner. He had it for, oh geez, it's almost its whole life. He passed away, unfortunately. It happens. We get old and die. It was owned for like 2 years, I think, by one person, and then they traded it in a dealership. He bought it at the dealership, had it serviced at the dealership. I'm surprised the dealership didn't tell him to do a timing belt, but the timing belt broke. I bought the car with no idea knowing what was wrong with it. I didn't even want to turn it over. I didn't turn it over by hand. I looked at it, and I looked at the guy, and I'm like, the car's in great shape. You know, it's got dings and nicks and stuff, but it's not a rusty car. It was always kept inside. And I saw a stack of paperwork that came with it. It was pretty good. So I didn't really think the timing belt was going to be a culprit. I thought maybe it would actually just start and I'd have to do a timing belt water pump, but that wasn't it. So it smacked the valves pretty good, it cracked the piston, and so he must have been going a good clip when that went. And that's the whole story. We do ran when parked. No, this one did not run when parked. This one was just parked because it stopped running. So don't worry, I didn't pay too much. Fair price for it. Got a new engine for it. I ended up getting a whole another low mileage engine for it. I think I was told it had 60,000, but I think all used engines have 60,000. I think that's the number they go with, 60 to 80. All right. It doesn't smoke, it runs good. I put a new timing belt, water pump, all that. I had a little help from Exotic up the road. They jumped in and helped me because I've been so busy and had a bunch of extra parts. We did it down at their shop. I don't have any video of that, sorry. But we worked on it down there on off time. And is one of his mechanics over there, thank you. Did a lot of work on the side too and didn't really charge me for it, which I think is great. So I'm gonna be buying him lunch for the next year. And yeah, but we got a bunch of new parts in here, so mechanically the thing is like perfect. New clutch, woo! New throwout bearing and all that stuff. So yeah, let's get into the brakes. A little enough of the history on this car, but let's get into the brakes. I'll show you. These cars aren't that bad. The brakes are just like everyone else's brakes, you know? We all put our pants on the same way. We all put our brakes on the same way, sort of. So let's get into these brakes. Go over here. I'm gonna go get the, you know, the equipment and parts. All right, I like to lay everything out over here so I have it. Usually I have a better cart, but I got a lot going on and all the carts are full of parts from other cars that are on the lift. So, got new rotors, new pads. Go ahead and take these apart, and it just got some pins. And we'll get the pins out, some little... Alright, yeah, these pins are what hold the pads in. And you got this other clip. It's similar to a lot of other cars. And this clip here just goes around the backside. And, of course, be careful of this. This is your sensor. Not that it works because the light's on in the dash. So, it's an 87. So, I don't know. Maybe replacing those will help, but I'm not sure. These lights are fantastic. Of course, it's plastic. Dang it. There we go. Pins out of there. We're going to lube that up a little bit. Okay, if you get it on the pads, we're replacing all this anyways. Might be able to get them moving with just this and see. It didn't come all the way out. Then you can slide the pins out. Sometimes you can get them to come. And we might get lucky here. Yeah, we might need to use a punch to get those all the way out of there. Mr. Skinny Punch can do it here. Yeah, that's all it took. There goes the clip. The clip just holds the pad in there, just like every other clip. Usually those come with the pads, but they didn't with this. So, not a big deal, we'll reuse them. And there's the other pin. You have to take this off. We have to take the caliper right off. Oh well, not a big deal. We'll take the caliper off. Sometimes you can get these off, but I don't think that's going to come off. These look pretty good. Get some air, blow it out with some air. When you pull these rotors off, especially they've been off a while, like use like they just a little razor pad, just clean the rust off. Get in between there. I know you can't hear me, but you want to get this stuff off. Just lightly. You don't want to take material. Don't use a grinding disc. You'll take metal off and they'll never sit flush. They're off center, the two holes. That throws me off every time. ACs on the end of that. And then put a little anti-seize on the other one. And next time those will come out real easy like. They say never sell cars to friends. Whatever. What do you think? She's a little wobbly. Needs to go on there a little bit more. Getting there. I think once we jam the wheel on there, it might decide to. We'll get it when the wheels get on. Man, that stuff is all over the lugs. I mean, I know they're aluminum on steel, but come on, people. There she goes. And done. They are out. These new cans I get, they get low and they don't have any pressure in them. Screw holes are offset, so I think that goes like. All right, so we got the rotor on there a lot flatter. It will actually get seated on there better once we put the wheel on and get all this get this junk off the studs. I mentioned it earlier that you don't want that anti-seize on your studs because they'll never torque right. I got that compressed, the piston on the caliper, and I get the pads. Gonna grease the back. Always grease the back of your pads even though they have the shims. You're gonna get harmonic vibrations and that's gonna cause a squeal and you don't want to take this back apart. I use a synthetic grease on the back. I also like to grease the corners of them for where they may move around a little bit. Some people don't like to do that. Just be careful, don't get it on the pad. And then the pins, they're pretty ruddy. I think I might just run them over the wire wheel real quick. They're just really rusty. It didn't get new ones with the pads, so I probably could have bought a kit. Just didn't think of it, so we're just gonna clean these up. I'm gonna run them over the wire wheel. I'll be right back. Just wanted to show you a little before and after. There's before, and there's after. So you just clean them up. They hold the pads in and things will move around a lot better. So get the other one and slide those pads in. All right, they're all cleaned up. We'll get these back in. Some people put Loctite on these. They had Loctite on them. You don't really need it. They got lock washers. Should be fine as long as you get them tight enough. Make sure if you do twist this, you untwist it, make sure it's in the right direction, and you put it back on. Alright. Zip those back on real quick. Good old school. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see that. I whacked it pretty good. There. That's how you do it. Kind of a pain in the butt. That's how you do it. I am not going to curse the Porsche. Nope, I will not. I think the piston popped back out on that. It sure did. Maybe we can get to it. Man, just a fight with these, huh? Not totally perfect, but close enough, right? I like to call it perfect. Now we need our little flippy-doo-hooky. Flippy-doo-hooky. And you slide that under there. It spins. Wow, did something right there. Anyway, sorry about the fight there. They've been off for a while. They have been off for a while. It's just a little bit of a fight there, but we got it. We're good. And we'll get that top one tightened up and we'll go on to the other side. It's rinse and repeat pretty much. So we'll show you this side and we'll get those done and we'll go to the back. Man, the heat is cooking in here. And we should be good. All cleaned up, greased, boom. New brakes. Now we'll go to the other side. Get that done. All right. I bet you guys thought I forgot that. I didn't. Almost forgot it. But I'm gonna throw this on and the tricky clip, as I like to call it. All right, moving on to the rears. I know this isn't very exciting, but I just blew this out with air. Just gotta get the crud out of there. These just were super loose, so they came right out. These aren't as rusty, crusty as the fronts, but they're pretty much exactly the same as the front, a little bit smaller. Everything else on them is identical. It's just a miniature version of the front. I can actually probably get the... Well, hopefully I go the right direction. I'm a little backwards today, Monday. All right, those are all cleaned up, ready to go back in. Just gotta remove, just gotta grease these backs of these pads up real quick. Okay, I got the caliper hung up on the jack stand here. And I'm cleaning off the e-brake. Looks really good though. Those hardly ever get worn out. Someone drives with them on. New rotor. Just spray it off real quick. It's the bad finger. Hopefully that slides over those brakes. Oop. Let's go like that. Oh, nice. Perfect. I was worried they were going to fly. All right, so I got that back on. Gonna get the other pad greased up. Slide that in from the back, it should go right in. Yes, sir. A little tap, tap. There we go. Get the other bolt back here in place. All set. As soon as I hit the brakes, it should adjust itself. And they're done. Now rinse and repeat on the other side. All right, let's give this fuel pump a test. Positive. Negative. You can kind of hear it. You shouldn't run them dry, but kind of up and down. It sounds all right, but it could be a little weak, and also could have been the kink in that. We'll change it anyways, but found a pretty good kink in that hose. So yeah, I mean, you can kind of hear it go up and down a little bit. I don't know if you could hear that in the camera, but I could hear it kind of wee. So it shouldn't do that. It is dry. I mean, there's a little bit of fuel in there. Shouldn't run these dry like that, but it's the original fuel pump to the car. So you know, we'll keep it as a spare, emergency spare if we need it. And maybe I'll put it in one of my 924s, who knows? But it's not staying in that car. So let's just go change the fuel pump anyways, even though this fuel pump seems okay. I don't like how the car is driving and running. It's got hesitation sort of thing. It kind of randomly shuts off and comes back on again, and you can hear the fuel pump is very loud. So this didn't seem that loud on the bench, but in the car it was much louder, and I don't know if it was starving for fuel or what's going on, but definitely worth changing. So let's go get to it and change that fuel pump and filter. But again, and then also the other thing is someone had the wrong hose on this. It was kinked, so that may have what killed the fuel pump. It was really starving for fuel. So I don't know if you can see the kink in that, and that was on like this, and it was turned into the fuel pump. The fuel pump goes there. This was turned in like that, and it just kinked it. Look at the kink in it. It's gonna starve for fuel. So we'll cut this down. This one will be a little better. This is actually a high pressure fuel line. You don't really need it on this end, but I like to use it anyways. It is a high pressure fuel system. It is fuel injected, but this, you can use low pressure fuel line on this side, but I prefer to use this stuff anyways. It's a little more rugged, it's thicker. You can get a little more of a bend out of it, and it won't kink. So, especially in that situation. Well, it's the fuel pump sits right there, and there, and then this sits up and over like this, and the strap goes like that. See the strap? Okay. It's kind of a weird little system. And then the fuel pump, which is new now inside of its neat little home, it's this rubber housing. You should use it. It keeps, it dampens the noise of the fuel pump. 924s didn't have this, and the early 944s didn't have this. It was actually mounted externally. I don't know if people complained about it, but it's kind of funny. I haven't seen this on many cars, but this one has it, and it sits right up in here just like this. So the fuel pump goes in there, and that connects to the fuel filter, which I'm about to do. So I'll show you how to do a fuel filter on this. It should be changed. I don't know the last time it was changed. This car's been off the road since I think '09. So we'll do a video of driving this car too. It drives really nice. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. But again, and then all right, let's get that other side off there. I believe it's a 17 and a 19. We're gonna get on this end of it here. Oh, maybe it's a 19 and a 19 on this end. Must be. 19. Seems like the other one was a 17. Yeah, it's a 19 and a 19. So let's get another 19. Look at that, it's here. Wow, I seem like I know what I'm doing, right? All right. Probably. There we go. It's just like a brake line fitting. So you get a little bit of a flare on the end of this. Some flare! Oh, she's peeing. That'll clean the floor. Just when you thought you got it all out, huh? I got it to sort of turn. I just like to kind of scoot it through there so I don't have to take the whole thing off. Home for it. There we go. I do have a bucket on the floor here. All right. Make sure they're about the same. Yeah, they look the same. Sure, why not? Make sure you check the flow. Obviously, the flow is going up to the tank, so this is coming up, so follow your system, because it could throw you off. So the arrows are pointing this way, right? So the flow is going this way. That's towards the front of the car. So you want to make sure that, so this is going up to the front of the car. So you want that pointed in that direction. Makes sense, right? That felt weird. Just snug enough, just like a brake line. You see the end of that. It's flared on the end, see that? Goes in there. Sorry, I'm probably right in your way. Yep, definitely. Man, this axle's right in the way, isn't it? There we go, we don't want a fuel leak. Alright, so then this is going to go snug right in there, in its little home, and then this plugs into here. And then that goes inside that little cover through here. And this gets clamped. I can see that. That gets clamped right in there. So that holds that like that. And we gotta, oh, you know what? Cut! We gotta attach the rubber hose to the other side. Alright. Let's get this fuel line right here attached to this. We just gotta loop it around the corner here. We don't want to probably cut it right there. Oop. Maybe a little shorter. Kinking it a little bit. Yeah, that's a lot better than it was. It was pretty kinked before. All right, now we can put this thing up there. I got this. Goes through there. It's gonna go in there. We got a little. I don't know. This doesn't really need to be there, but there it is. There we go. He's in. Get up there and we'll see what we did. New fuel filter, pointing in the correct direction towards the front of the car. Fuel line is original. You can see it's sitting in the right spot. There's a little spot for it to sit in right there. The wire comes up through there and the strap goes across there and done. Fuel pump and fuel filter changed. And we'll see how she drives and runs. It might probably run a lot better. We got to put the fuel back in the tank though. I took all the fuel out and it was full. Been driving it around and it just didn't seem right. All right, let's go see how she runs. Put some fuel in it and start her up. All right, this is the true test. Let's see if she starts and runs a little better. Oop. Ready? Oop. You get some fuel. She's a little cold-blooded. Get out and check, see how she's doing back here. Can't even hear the fuel pump now. It was pretty loud before. It's running all right. It's cold. Seems to be pretty good. Let's shut it off before we get asphyxiated. Yeah, I don't even hear the fuel pump anymore, so I think we solved the problem. Bad fuel pump.